Good Morning Britain interrupted for breaking news as Keir Starmer sparks fury. Good Morning Britain was halted as Keir Starmer made a plea to world leaders following news Israeli hostages are being released. Good Morning Britain was halted for a breaking news announcement about the war in Gaza. Susanna Reid confirmed that 7 hostages taken by Hamas 2 years ago have been released. She told viewers, "In breaking news this morning, the Israel Defense Forces confirmed that 7 Israelis taken hostage by Hamas 2 years ago have been released to the Red Cross in Gaza. The remaining 13 hostages and the bodies of 28 others who died in captivity will be transferred to the Israeli military before being reunited with their families." Overnight, President Trump declared, "The war is over." Now, Prime Minister Keir Starmer is urging world leaders to seize the momentum of the ceasefire in Gaza to secure lasting peace in the region. Correspondent Louisa James reported, Keir Starmer has arrived in Egypt for the ceremony to mark Phase 1 of Donald Trump's peace plan, with a promise of playing a leading role in Phase 2, which includes the rebuilding of Gaza. The Prime Minister will today announce that £20 million for aid to prevent famine and disease in Gaza. He will also pledge to support the next stage of talks to implement the peace plan. The government here has been accused of overstating the role that it has played so far. The U.S. ambassador to Israel has described Cabinet Minister Bridget Phillipson as delusional, following her claim in a Sky News interview that the UK played a key role in brokering the Gaza peace deal. The Israeli government then said that the UK had played the opposite of a key role by recognizing Palestine in September. The Conservatives say that Keir Starmer should be dealing with pressing issues here, rather than attending a photo opportunity, as they call it, in Egypt, Louisa added. The update sparked outrage among GMB viewers, who criticized the Labour leader for trying to make himself look relevant, and condemned the £20 million Gaza aid package at a time when the UK is facing financial difficulties. One wrote, "And off Starmer goes again flying around the world trying to make himself look relevant in the peace deal that Trump secured whilst throwing away more of the taxpayers' money whilst telling Britain there is a massive black hole and we need to fill. Utter plank." Another fumed, "Where does the £20 million come from given Britain is bankrupt? Charity begins at home. We are about to be hit with massive taxes rises in the forthcoming budget, yet Starmer promises money like it's confetti just to improve his public image." A third posted, "Why is Starmer going to Egypt when he had nothing to do with the peace deal?" Another raged, "More of our money going abroad. Look forward to my tax increases to pay for it. Why are we always responsible for other countries? How much are Dubai and Egypt putting towards the rebuilding?" It was supposed to be another ordinary Monday morning on Good Morning Britain. Headlines, hot coffee, and a heated discussion or two. But just 20 minutes into the live broadcast, chaos unfolded as an unexpected breaking news alert forced producers to abruptly cut off the morning chatter. What followed was a whirlwind of political drama, public outrage, and live television tension that left viewers across the UK stunned. At precisely 7:22 a.m., as co-hosts Susanna Reid and Ed Balls discussed the weekend's weather warnings, a red breaking news banner suddenly flashed across the screen. A stunned Susanna glanced at her earpiece, pausing mid-sentence as the studio lights subtly shifted. "Apologies," she said, her tone switching instantly to one of gravity. "We're just getting word of a major development involving Labour leader Keir Starmer." Within seconds, the cameras cut to political correspondent Ranveer Singh, standing outside Westminster in the morning drizzle, clutching a folder of hastily printed notes. "Good morning," she began, her voice urgent. "We're just learning that Sir Keir Starmer's remarks at a late-night policy event have triggered a wave of backlash, both within his own party and among members of the public." The show's audience, already awake and scrolling through their phones, began flooding social media. The hashtag StarmerStorm started trending before the GMB segment had even ended. The spark that lit the fire. According to Ranveer's report, Starmer had spoken at a closed-door event the night before, where he made a comment that quickly leaked online. "Sometimes, leadership means standing against what people think they want." Those 11 words, simple, cryptic, and easily taken out of context, exploded into a political inferno by dawn. Critics accused Starmer of arrogance and detachment, while supporters insisted the phrase was taken out of proportion. But on Good Morning Britain, the debate ignited faster than producers could cue the return to the studio. Ed Balls leaned forward, eyes wide. "Well, that's a bold thing to say when polls already show voters think you're out of touch," he remarked, shaking his head. Susanna shot him a look. "Hold on, Ed. We don't even know the full context yet. It could have been about leadership under pressure, not arrogance." Ed smirked. "Context or not, those words will be on every front page by lunchtime." He was right. The studio turns into a battlefield.
Within minutes, the GMB producers had booked 2 political commentators for a live debate.
One was Lucy Connolly, a Labour campaign strategist known for defending Starmer's leadership. The other, Tom Harland, a fiery conservative pundit who rarely missed a chance to take aim at Labour. When they joined via video link, the screen split into 4: Susanna, Ed, Lucy, and Tom. A perfect setup for what viewers knew would be a storm. "Lucy," Susanna began, "you've worked with Keir Starmer's team for years. What's your reaction this morning?" Lucy sighed, visibly frustrated. "Honestly, this is a distraction. Keir was speaking about leadership in complex times. Every word is being twisted. He's talking about responsibility, not disregard for voters." Tom cut in before she could finish. "Oh, come off it, Lucy. That line's straight from the 'I know better than the people' playbook. It's insulting. He's basically saying democracy is optional when he's in charge." Lucy fired back. "That's not what he meant and you know it." But Tom was relentless. "Tell that to the working-class voters who feel ignored while Labour hosts champagne receptions in London." Susanna raised her hand, trying to restore order. All right, let's keep this civil." But it was too late. The argument drowned in overlapping voices as Lucy snapped, "You're twisting his words." And Tom retorted, "You're defending the indefensible." Viewers at home could practically feel the tension crackling through the screen. The public reaction. A divided nation. By 8 a.m., the GMB switchboard was reportedly overwhelmed with callers. Twitter was ablaze with opinions ranging from fury to disbelief. "Keir Starmer just confirmed he thinks he's smarter than the rest of us," one viewer posted. "Finally, a leader who doesn't pander to every whim," countered another. The GMB producers, sensing the story's power, decided to extend coverage, scrapping their planned segment on celebrity news. Instead, Susanna Reid interviewed Labour MP Angela Rayner live from Manchester. An interview that became the morning's defining moment. "Angela, how damaging is this for Sir Keir?" Susanna asked, leaning in. Rayner, visibly irritated, replied, "Look, people love to blow one comment out of proportion. Keir's leadership is about doing what's right, not what's easy. We can't govern by Twitter outrage." Susanna pressed further. "But surely he has to be careful with words that imply voters don't know what's best?" Rayner gave a half-smile. "If we're going to talk about words, Susanna, maybe we should look at the words of those twisting his speech for headlines." The tension was electric. GMB's political coverage had suddenly become must-watch TV. Backstage chaos and live drama. Behind the cameras, insiders later revealed that producers were scrambling. One source reportedly told the Mirror that the control room was like an airport emergency. Segments were rearranged, politicians were phoned, and one junior producer was overheard shouting, "We've lost the celebrity chef segment, again." Meanwhile, on air, Susanna maintained her trademark calm professionalism, though even she looked momentarily stunned when the program had to interrupt again for an emergency update. "We're hearing now that Downing Street has issued a response," announced the voice of news anchor Charlotte Hawkins. The statement, short but cutting, read, "Sir Keir Starmer's comments confirm what we've long suspected. Labour doesn't trust the British people." Cue outrage. Ed Balls groaned audibly, muttering, "Here we go again," while Susanna raised an eyebrow. "Well," she said, "if this morning wasn't dramatic enough, it just got even more interesting." A nation watches. By 9 a.m., Good Morning Britain had tripled its usual engagement online. Clips of the chaotic debate went viral, memes were circulating, and hashtags like #GMBmeltdown and #StarmerSpeech dominated the top trends. Even celebrities weighed in. Comedian John Bishop tweeted, "Maybe the real leadership test is surviving Good Morning Britain." For viewers, the show had delivered everything: breaking news, political fallout, and raw, unfiltered emotion, the kind of television that couldn't be scripted if it tried. The aftermath. As the credits rolled just after 9 a.m., Susanna leaned toward the camera with a wry smile. "Well, that's all from us this morning. We'll continue to follow this developing story, and perhaps get to those weather reports next time." Her closing line summed it up perfectly. A morning that began with drizzle ended in a political downpour. Later that afternoon, GMB's official statement praised its commitment to live, responsive journalism, while Starmer himself released a clarification video saying, "Leadership isn't about ignoring people, it's about listening and deciding with integrity." But the damage was done. Headline screamed, "Starmer sparks fury on live TV," and Good Morning Britain was once again at the center of Britain's breakfast time drama. In just under 2 hours of live broadcasting, the show had gone from ordinary chatter to breaking political history. Proof that when it comes to Good Morning Britain, even a single sentence can rewrite the morning's agenda.